I'm looking at the look in John Cena's eyes. It doesn't look like he's ready to greet an old friend here. There's a smile on the face of Brock Lesnar.
Let's not use the word friend when it comes to Lesnar and Cena. This is a man that has beat the hell out of John Cena over the years.
This is a man who is a walking hazard, a walking threat.
John Cena once called this man his greatest rival, his toughest rival, his most physical rival. And Brock Lesnar is here, and he's as massive as ever. The Beast has not taken his eyes off John Cena since he entered this stadium. He had to shed his jacket. He's taken down his hat.
This is a man built for one thing.
And Lesnar into the ring. And Brock Lesnar. And John Cena on his shoulders. Brock Lesnar with an F5 to John Cena. On a night when John Cena went through an absolute war with Cody Rhodes.
Let's be honest, Brock Lesnar was never coming down here to commiserate with anyone.
You are listening to your free SummerSlam review here on the Dirty Sheets podcast. Wanted to do this immediately on Sunday. Even had plans to do it at the American Dream, which is the mall opposite MetLife Stadium. I believe it is the 5th biggest mall in the world, 2nd biggest mall in the US. And I couldn't, because that is where I went to on Saturday to get my Uber, waited for the traffic to die down, was able to get an Uber from there, from the inside of the mall, because it closed at 10. And on Sunday it closed at 7, and there was some Jobsworth security guard there that did not let us in to go back to our quiet place, the sofas where we waited for an hour before we could get our cab out of MetLife. Instead, we had to wait around the mall with a bunch of other people, but still managed to get our Uber from outside and get back by 11:30. Now, that in comparison to WrestleMania 29 and 35 is a huge improvement. So having the American Dream there, having a base to go to, plus also having 30,000 less people there, obviously make things a lot better. So not a horrendous experience getting back. I was very concerned about that because my experiences at MetLife have been horrible. But I would take being home within 90 minutes any time with any wrestling event. That is the problem with these stadium shows. And it's obviously a bigger problem when it's a shit show like WrestleMania was overall, even though it had some nuggets that were decent, some golden nuggets, like that main event on night 1. Most of the card on night 2 did deliver decent matches, although not to a Mania caliber, really. And that's the problem with Mania, and where SummerSlam kind of benefits, because the expectation is a little bit lower. But the expectation for this SummerSlam was that it needed to compensate for WrestleMania. And it definitely did that. I mean, if you just look through the card, a lot of it was just telling you that they were pushing the reset button. Gunther and CM Punk was a planned match, or at least they were planned to be involved with each other. And then you had Seth Rollins coming out for the cash-in. That's the Gunther, CM Punk, Seth Rollins match that was was rumored, or at least on the table for WrestleMania. And in the end, I believe when it was finalised, they were just going with Punk, Gunther, and Rollins had diverted off towards Roman Reigns. None of that ended up happening because then we threw Jey Uso into the mix and decided to run a fucking experiment at WrestleMania, which failed. So the Jey Uso experiment failed. We ended up back where we should have been with Gunther walking in as champion. It would have been a lot more important had Gunther gone SummerSlam to SummerSlam because he won the belt last year at SummerSlam, and we didn't have that Jey Uso experiment in the middle of it. But if you take that away, overall, Gunther has still been champion for 10 of the last 12 months. So still a significant champion going into that. Cody and Cena basically had a rematch, and John Cena walked in as a babyface because they decided to do that on fucking SmackDown. Started to turn a guy babyface on SmackDown, which made a lot of people speculate as if that was going to be a swerve. It wasn't. John Cena is now full-on babyface. Brock Lesnar's fucking back in the company. Something apparently that's been discussed throughout this year. And this is when they've pulled the trigger. We'll talk more about that later and what it means and why I'm happy about it, other than being a Brock fan. But what it means in terms of a certain portion of the audience that WWE are no longer listening to or catering to. An audience that I absolutely fucking despise. So that's great for so many reasons. Also, even if you look through his card and you see a Rhea Ripley and Io Sky still involved with each other in a double triple threat match, just replace one black woman for another and you have exactly the same match. So a lot of this was the same, but that's because it was a reset, and boy, did it fucking blow WrestleMania out of the water. The two endings of night one and night two, whilst I don't think we had any matches that would go into the top 10 all time at SummerSlam other than that main event at the end of night two, which could potentially be the best SummerSlam match ever. We'll have that debate. And whilst none of the other matches, I would say, get into the top 10, maybe at a push, that TLC match, we definitely had two of the top 10 all-time moments. And I always have Warrior beating Honky Tonk Man as my number one. But that Rollins cash-in and the way it was done certainly does give it a case to be the number one SummerSlam moment of all time. Yet, I think some people would say the Lesnar return is bigger, but I think that's circumstantial. I think just because nobody expected Brock there because of the lawsuit and whatnot, I think the shock really took over there. I'm not sure long-term that will stand as a better and more watchable moment than what Seth did. But let's break it all down, starting with night one and then moving on to night two. I'm joined by my son, Austin, who ended up going to these two nights with me. Austin.
Yo.
Doesn't appreciate going to these things, but he does get to go to them all. I think he thinks it's normal to go. I didn't go to pay-per-view till WrestleMania 21, and guess what? I fucking paid for it myself. My dad wasn't dishing out money for pay-per-views, but Austin can start paying for his own WrestleManias when he turns 21, if he still wants to go, and then he can see how it feels to just burn your money. But it doesn't feel so much like burning your money when it delivers like this. And also, everything was relatively cheap because we played the waiting game. We swooped in and got our night two tickets for, was it, Austin, $202 each?
Yeah, about that, I think.
And night one was $117?
Yeah, like $115.
Yeah, so I mean, we're in for like $320 each, so $640, which is about £500. I would take that all day. To have spent £500 on 2 nights of SummerSlam and sat right in the hard cam section. We didn't buy that section. We bought the section next to it, but we're able to move across. The worst case scenario would have moved the section across and been slightly hampered by one of the pillars and a turnbuckle. But in the end, not a problem. Hard cam was pretty empty. Section 137 was only opened up late in the day. Occasionally we did see people coming in and telling people you're in our seat and we just bought this now and whatnot. But yeah, overall there was enough seats to make sure that we were able to stay in a hard cam. Absolutely no problem on night one. It was relatively empty. But on night two, we did sit in a couple of people's seats on a couple of occasions. But in the end, as I said, plenty of room to move into. So night one opened up with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso defeating Paul Heyman's squad that still don't have a name. I think the main takeaway from this match, other than the fact that the Shula Fale is a real thing, is that Roman almost got seriously injured. How worried were you about when you saw that? Like, because for a few seconds it looked like he was out of the match.
Yeah, I genuinely thought he was gonna tip backwards, break his neck, and he was gone for good. Like that genuinely could have been the end of Roman Reigns forever. I know he's only got how many years do you think he's got left? Like 3, 2?
Well, I mean, if he doesn't sign his deal, he's only got 1 year left, because that's where we're at with him. He's only got 1 year left on his deal.
How many times does he have to show up per year?
On the current contract, I think it's about this contract's weird because it was 40 dates a year, but you obviously know he doesn't do that because he works so many at the front end of it, because Vince wanted him to come back in and establish house shows, which, because he did that, has left less than 25 dates per year since he since he unified the title. Yeah, it left approximately less than 25 dates per year. So yeah, it's a tough one with him, because when he renews, he wants to keep the schedule that he's been on for the latter part, which means he would be renewing for 20 dates a year, which is what he wants, but he wants exactly the same money. So he wants the same. So people have got this wrong, saying he wants more money. He doesn't want more money. He wants the same money, but wants to do half the work. So he'd be making double the money. So he could argue he wants double the money. Yeah. But I thought this was the second best match of the night. Good opener, solid, right result. You have that moment in there. There's always the moments with the bloodline, and this one is how Jay and Roman come full circle now. He has his trust because he saved him, and Jay gets the pin. I'm not sure where Jay goes from here with that pin, because he wasn't even on Raw. I think he probably gets put in that 6-man tag with LA Knight and CM Punk to lose to these guys in Paris. What do you think?
Yeah, that's probably the most likely outcome of this.
What would you grade this match in terms of... so if we use our grading system... I'm not going to do this for all the matches, but as this one is one of the better ones, what would you grade it in terms of build-up for this? I thought this was one of the better builds.
Yeah, like 4 stars.
We go out of 10.
Can you go to decimals or no?
Why would you need to? You can, yeah, but...
just 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 for the build. What about the bell-to-bell, like the action inside the ring?
The same.
And what would you give the crowd reaction to this match?
An 8. I think the crowd were pretty live for this one.
I think they were more live for this one than they were for other matches coming down. There's going to be some low crowd marks coming up for this show, because there was definitely a down period, which was also something that we saw at WrestleMania Night 1. WrestleMania Night 1 had a hot start, which was involved Jay again. That entrance always brings people up, and then it had a really, really dead middle period. What would you give the finish of this match?
An 8 as well. I like how they full circled that. It's an 8.
8 out of 10. And the relevance of the occasion, it's the first match on a 2-night SummerSlam. It's not the main event, so I think I would go with an 8 for that as well.
Yeah.
My ratings are almost identical to yours. I'm gonna, for modern day builds, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10, because modern day builds. I mean, we really shouldn't be giving this a stronger rating because other builds are bad, and this was good for a modern day build because builds this year haven't been good. But I like the stuff on Monday night. I think with the shoes and then carrying it into Sunday, I think that was really cleverly done. So I'm 1 mark above yours. So you've ended up with 38 and I've ended up with 39, but ultimately we both end up on 4 stars. So 30, 38 and 39 both round up to 4 stars overall. So that for me is correct. That's how we started things. After that, I'm kind of just going to go through things here collectively, unless there's anything you want to talk about separately. After this match, we had... What did we have in match 2?
Was it like a tag team match?
Yeah, because there was loads of tag team matches.
It was the women's tag. Then it was Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Oh, this part was really bad. This dead part.
Well, I don't think the women's tag was dead.
I know,
because...
but then it got to Karrion and that was bad.
Yeah, well, you didn't watch it.
Yeah, but I heard it was bad. I literally left for drinks because I knew it was going to be bad.
Yeah, it was the same match that we saw in Saudi. And Karrion Kross now, I think, is going to be leaving the company. They've not done anything with that online momentum and whatnot. Sami Zayn got the win that I expected him to win. And by the way, that prediction show we did was absolute fire. And for the betting packages, they ended up going 8-1 and absolutely cleaned up. A number of people on the show were underdogs and shouldn't have been. But anyway, sandwiched between the opener and the main, and the opener and Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross was Charlotte and Alexa winning the tag titles. I thought this was fine. I don't think the crowd were as into it as the WWE would have wanted him to be, because at Evolution they were very much behind Charlotte and she's had decent crowd responses on some SmackDowns. But I think just doing the whole Charlotte Alexa thing in the way it's been done, I think for me that's an 8 out of 10 as well. I think the bell for bell was weaker than the last match and I gave it a 6. I thought that the... What are we doing next here? I thought that the crowd reaction wasn't that strong, which was obviously reflected by the fact that I didn't think the bell for bell was that strong. But also it's a come down from Roman and Jay being out there. But I only gave the crowd a 6 out of 10 for this. The finish, I think that this was fine. During the match we had that incident with Charlotte and Alexa giving her, accidentally giving her a slap. And then, obviously, we had the tease, is Charlotte going to boot her? But no, she decides to help her instead. I saw somewhere that was a copy of a finish that they've done at another time, but I can't actually recall what it was. But, yeah, I'll give that an 8 out of 10. And for the relevance, again, I'll give it 8 out of 10 because it's a SummerSlam match. So I've got 8, 8, 6, which comes to what, Austin, if your maths is better than mine, I make that 36, which rounds down to 3.5 stars. Would you say that's right?
About right. Let me do mine.
You don't need to.
Oh, okay.
No one cares that much about it. Let's move through. I'm not going to do it for Cross and Zayn. As I said, it was disappointing. I'm not going to do it for Tiffany and Jade Cargill because they had 7 minutes, but I thought it was a solid 7 minutes. I think you told the story you needed to tell. You had quick-paced action. Jade Cargill hit a finish, nearly won, and obviously that's going to be a source of frustration. Tiffany got a foot in the ropes, and then Tiffany beat her clean. Now, across the board, among your IWC, this has been seen as they've given up on Jade Cargill. Because Meltzer said it, and we all know how good Meltzer's been at breaking news and stuff over the last 20 years. He's been an absolute fucking shit show. We know all he does is watches the show and gives his opinion as facts. So now he's saying, oh, I spoke to someone after the fact, by the way. It's always afterwards. He doesn't wait for... if Jade Cargill had won, he wouldn't be saying the same story. But now she's lost, he says, oh, I was told a few weeks ago that they've given up on Jade and they used to see her as the same as Rhea Ripley and now they don't see her at the same level. Yeah, you're charging people like $13 a month, and the idea of that, you fucking dick, is to tell people beforehand what the news is. You don't say after the fact. So what it means is that this guy is just faking it the entire time. He fakes the fact that he knows things because no one told this guy shit 2 weeks ago. And also, I have a feeling, just by using my fucking eyes, that is wrong. Because Jade Cargill's reaction afterwards was one of anger. Her tweet afterwards is one of anger, where she turned around and basically said, y'all got what you wanted. That's heel speak. And I think what they're creating here is a monster heel. And I can see Jade Cargill as the heel that she was in AEW. She needs to be because she doesn't work as a babyface. It hasn't resonated with people. Yes, her in-ring work isn't great, but that's a lot easier when you don't have to sell. And she shouldn't really be selling anyway because she's a big muscular girl and she's selling for girls that are smaller than her. Not necessarily in the case of Tiffany, but a number of others. So she needs to be a heel. That gives her less to do. She's going to be more so on the offense, whereas she doesn't have to be selling for people she shouldn't be doing. And it's going to lead to a match with Bianca Belair, which WWE are obviously obsessed with putting on. So, no, it's not the end of the career of Jade Cargill. It's just going to be the start of her turning heel, at least in my opinion anyway. And just disregard anything Dave Meltzer says. Anyway, this is fine, but not something I want to rate. But I definitely want to rate the next match, because for me, this was the third best match on the card. And this shouldn't be better than the women's tag, better than Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross, the two experienced performers, and better than the women's title match. But it was. It could, even in some people's eyes, be the second best match, because a lot of people don't like that Gunther slow style. And some people, you know, some more casual fans that I talked to, my mate Nathan was there, said he was bored shitless watching Gunther and CM Punk. So
was I.
So was Austin. But nobody was bored watching this. I think the main criticism I have of this match is why the fuck is Drew McIntyre selling so much for Jelly Roll. I thought that was my only criticism. I thought that it was a wrong thing to do to that extent. Having Jelly Roll in there for 7 minutes at the beginning before Orton came in, I didn't think that was a good idea. I think it was actually, the action was fine and it was exciting enough, but I just think it's a bad look for WWE. But I did have Jake Paul and Drew McIntyre as an underdog, and I said to Austin at that point, I'm now 100% certain that they're going to win, didn't I? Because I felt like, and do you not agree, that they'd given Jelly Roll enough? He didn't need that celebrity win when he got in there and was holding his own against McIntyre and Logan Paul. I felt that was enough.
Yeah, I agree. And, the match was very good, and I feel like, Jelly Roll did get enough. And I feel like WWE picked the right winner in this one. I think Logan Paul and McIntyre needed it more than Jelly Roll.
Yeah, so I'm going to do ratings for this, and I'm going to get you to do ratings for this as well. I think the build was a 9 out of 10. I think they did everything right coming into this. From the very beginning, it was a hot angle with them having Logan Paul pushed Drew McIntyre attacking Randy Orton, wasn't it? And then Logan Paul tried to take advantage, and then Jelly Roll got something over Logan. Logan then destroyed his music equipment. And then we carried it on the next night on Saturday night's main event, where Jelly Roll tries to help Orton again, and then he gets the Claymore. And then obviously went on the Hulk Hogan SmackDown, where the first SmackDown where Hogan died. You had Logan Paul and Jelly Roll come out then, exchange words. Jelly Roll was actually better at speaking than a lot of guys that have been in WWE for a while. So overall, I felt this was built up very well. You even had the late night talk show stuff to make it even bigger. And it almost felt like had this been the main event, it would have made sense. But obviously now we know what we saw at the end. Had it been just CM Punk winning or Gunther winning, then this could have closed. But with the heels winning, it wouldn't have made much sense. Roman could have closed the show out as well. But I think everything was booked right. And this was in a really difficult spot as well, like second last match from the end. We know the main event of the night's coming. But I thought they did really well. I thought the build was good. 9 out of 10. What's yours?
I put it as an 8.
8 out of 10 for you. Bell for Bell. For Bell, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna dock it because I think that Drew McIntyre oversold.
Yeah, I put it as a 7.
You're not with this match as much as me either.
Not really.
Okay.
I liked it, but not as much as you do.
No, I mean,
I don't think it's a 9 out of 10 build. A 9 out of 10 build is like Hogan Rock.
No, it isn't.
What is it?
Well, I mean, even Hogan Rock was criticised for its build. Hogan Rock was criticised for the build because Hulk Hogan did stuff that would have killed a normal man, and The Rock came back 4 weeks later and he was okay. And The Rock only turned up twice to build that match up. Once was when he was injured, and then he went to go and do some movie work, and then once was to come back from the injury. So
what do you think's a 10 out of 10 build? There's only two 10 out of 10 builds in history, in my opinion. And one is 40 last year, Cody Roman, and the other is Austin Rock 17.
Austin Rock 17 again, like the whole Deborah thing doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think there's been more 10 out of 10 builds before, like Stone Cold and Bret Hart from WrestleMania 13. I would say it's a 10 out of 10 build.
Boring.
What do you mean? You didn't even see any of it?
I've seen.
What, you've seen the build, have you?
Yes, I've seen the build.
Oh, tell me the build then.
I don't remember it, but I've seen it. I remember it wasn't great.
Well, so you had a cage match on the last Raw where Bret's trying to help Austin win because he wants Austin to walk in with a chair. Austin's trying to help Bret win, and Undertaker's trying to help Sid win, and then Bret Hart just goes nuts in like one of the best Raw moments ever.
Yeah, but other than that was not the best build. That was only one good time.
No, the build was constantly. Stone Cold and Bret Hart was built up since fucking November 1996. You know what I'm talking about. Just stick to what you know.
I don't really watch too much for the 2000s.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like these fucking Gen Z people that are online and trying to give opinions on things that happened before their time, like saying that Hulk Hogan isn't on their Rushmore. Like I don't give a fuck what your Rushmore even is.
What's your Rushmore?
It's got Hulk Hogan on it.
Yeah, so does mine.
Yeah, it's not Rushmore.
Mine's Hogan, Reigns, Cena, and Undertaker.
Okay, no one asked.
Oh,
you have to be asked what it is.
What's yours?
I'm not doing Rushmore now. I can get a whole show out of it, like if I wanted to. I've done it before. All right, so you've derailed everything. We were on something that you gave 7 out of 10 for, which was
bell to bell.
Which is bell to bell. Okay. The crowd response to this.
A 9. They were pretty into this match.
Yeah, I think they definitely picked up, but I don't think any more so than the first match. So I've just gone with an 8. I'm going to go 8.5 actually, because I think it's more than the other, but not enough for me to get to the 9 mark. The occasion...
the second last match for the main event.
Yeah, I'm going to go 8.5 again because it's not the main event. Like WrestleMania main event is 10. SummerSlam main event for me is 9 or 9.5. So I'm going to go 8.5 there. And for the finish,
I'd go like a 7 out of 10.
A 7 out of 10 for the finish.
Yeah.
I've gone with an 8 for my finish. So I've got a 9, an 8, an 8.5, an 8.5, and an 8. So if you turn one of my 8.5s to a 9, and I've got 3 8s and 2 9s, Jesus, I've got this at 43, which is a 4.5 star match, which actually makes it better than Roman and Jay beating Braun and Bronson. I've probably gone 1 mark over. I feel like this probably wasn't better than that match. But then again, when I think about who the performers were and if they had any right to even be in the same conversation, I think it's fair. And also when I factor in the build as well, I think it's fair. Okay, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to say this was the better match out of the 3 tag matches. I'm going to make this the best one. So yeah, I'm going to stick to my 4.5, 43. And 4.5, but Austin's got a very different mark here. He's got 8, 7, 9, 7, 8. So Austin's only got a 39, which does make it a 4-star match. And yours is probably a mark. You've probably ended up with a mark, which I think makes more sense. At 42.5. I would have had a choice to say if I feel it's more of a 4 or more of a 4.5. And I think had I given it half a mark less, I would have had the choice, and I probably would have gone down to 4 with you as well. But a very, very, very strong 4-star match. But it's 4.5 based on what I've done. Okay, so let's move on to the main event. We're running real long here because I wanted to get this show done in 30 minutes, and we're at 31, and we're not on to night 2. So let's try and just get through it as quick as we can. I'd not do too many individual ratings for night 2. Let's just concentrate on the ladder match and the should we do the opener? Yeah, let's do the opener, the ladder match, and the main event. But let's do this main event first. Okay, Gunther versus CM Punk. What did you think of the build? I don't even think that there really was one.
Yeah, I think it's only like a 6 out of 10 build.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go 6 out of 10 too. I think if CM Punk challenging Gunther should have had a better build, or a longer build than CM Punk just winning a gauntlet match. I think that's really weak. But like they did cut a couple of decent promos together, and there was the tease of Seth, at least online. I think even 6 is generous actually, but I'm going to just stick with a 6. The belt spell, I think it's all down to how you feel about Gunther. I'm going to give it an 8.
I'll give it like a 7. I'm not really a big fan of Gunther, but
I think you were more.
It was a solid match.
I always thought you were more of a fan than me. Okay, so then you have your crowd reaction, occasion, and the finish, of which I have to go 10, 10, and 10 all across. Now, I mean, in fact, sorry, the crowd reaction to Rollins coming out, I think it's hard because that crowd reaction is ridiculously loud, which means I can't. And then it was obviously, they were very up for Punk winning. There was reaction to the blood. During the bell to bell, the crowd were quite quiet, but I don't think that they can be up all the time for Gunther's offense and whatnot. When Punk's selling, what do you want them to do? I don't think they were ever disengaged. So that's why I'm going to keep that 10. That could have been a 9 or even a 9.5, but I'm going to keep it as a 10. And for the occasion, 10 should really only be. In fact, I'm going to dock the crowd to 9.5, and I'm going to dock the occasion to 9.5 because the WrestleMania Night 2 main event should really be the only 10. So I have ended up with 6, 8, 10, which is 24, and 2 9.5s, which is 19. So I have ended up with 43, which is the same as the Logan Paul match, which is crazy because this was the best match and the best finish, and this is definitely a 4.5 stars. Let's finish up yours because I obviously did everything combined at the end. You were up to 6 and 7. What do you want to grade the occasion?
9.
The finish?
10.
And the crowd response?
9.
All right. Okay. So you've ended up with 6, 7, 9, 9, and 10.
Yep.
So you've got this at 41, which brings it to only 4 stars. But you're happy with that?
Yep.
Okay. So let's move it across to night 2. What do you think the better night was?
Night 2. I like night 2 more.
Yeah, I think I felt a bit drained in night 2, and I think overall, if I watched them both separately, I would think that night 2 is better. But I was running out of energy. I don't think I was interested in anything that happened after the TLC match. They started this show so hot. The women's match was real good. And then the TLC was TLC. It did what TLC was supposed to do. It's almost not even worth grading TLC because we know how that one goes. But let's do the women's match first. What did you think of the build for this? It just carried on from Evolution. Naomi comes in and does the cash in, And then obviously words are exchanged during. I think the fact that they used a cashing up on this and Rio and Io get credit for having a good match, I'll give it a 7.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay, why?
I really did like the build. To be honest, not much more to say. I like how they did the cash in. I like how they led it from PLE to PLE. So yeah, I put it as an 8.
Okay, I just don't think Rhea Ripley matches actually ever get good builds. I don't know why. There definitely seems to be something lacking in the build up to how we get to her matches, which they need to address.
Liv Morgan and Rhea was good.
Yeah, but I mean since then. What about the bell to bell?
A 9. I really like this match.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Like it was solid bell to bell, but I don't think the finish was that great. It's just your usual pin stealing finish, which has been done too much. So I'm gonna drop that down to a 7.
Really? Oh, finish. Yeah. I'd say the same. I'd actually put 6 because it's so rinsed now.
Okay. So we are now running on the same mark because you're one higher than me for one and I'm one higher than you for another. Occasion, opening up Summerslam, I'm going to give that an 8.
Yeah, I agree.
And the crowd reaction to this?
I'd say 8.
I'm going to go 8 as well. It was a pretty hot for the opening match, and that means that we got to the same, and we have kept it the same.
We
throughout.
both got 41.
Yeah, we both got 41. 4-star match. I'd say that's right. You?
Yeah.
All right. So, are you short 41?
Yeah.
I haven't got 41. I've got 39.
Ow.
7?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, I just missed it. I thought that was a 7.
Still
I
4.
read it the wrong way.
It's still 4-star, but
I thought that was a 6. I read it backwards.
It's still 4-star. That still
Yeah,
won't.
it's still 4-star.
It still won't add up.
Yeah, I know.
Your maths is just real bad.
It's not. I just can't see it the right way.
All right. Shh. Ladder match. Build. Nick Aldis comes out, says all of you are in a ladder match.
I mean, yeah, but they've led the SmackDown division for months and months and months now. So I put it as an 8.
8 for this build?
Yes. It's not this particular match, but they've built the SmackDown division for months to lead up to this.
I'm going to give it a 6 because I think the SmackDown division is real weak, and this is just a way to get your tag teams on the card. Although, you know, we're thankful for it because it gave us a TLC match. The bell to bell on a TLC match is always 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Unless there's an exception to the rule. The finish. Or what did you think of the finish of this match with the Wyatts ultimately getting involved? And
No, I didn't really like the finish. I mean, it was a really good match, but I did not like the finish that much. So I'll just put it as like a 6.
I'm going to give it 7. I think, you know, when that type of team is winning, your hands are tied. And yeah, I liked some of the spots there to get to the finish. So I've given it a 7. So what am I? I'm one above you now? Or one above you? No, I'm 2 less for you're 1 above me, sorry. Yeah. Okay. What about the occasion? I think
just an 8 match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, same match at SummerSlam. And what else do we have? Crowd response. I mean, crowd obviously.
Yeah, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 because crowds love ladder matches. So, you have this marked 1 better than me. I have this as a 6, 10, 7, plus an 8, and then a 9. I make that 40. And you're 1 above me with an 8, 10, 6, 8, and 9. You had it at 41, but it's a 4-star match for both of us. 41 and 40, so a 4-star match. You agree?
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, up until this point, definitely the best match so far, with the women's match just narrowly behind it. nothing that came after that really was comparable. And that could be down to the fact that at this point we are feeling that fatigue. And also, you just have the heels going over and it started to feel repetitive. You had Naomi stealing it. Then you had the Wyatts obviously interjecting themselves into the match constantly. Then you had the interference. What was before the cage match?
It was Becky and Lyra. That's when the crowd really let down. Yeah,
Becky and Lyra. The crowd really fell flat here. It doesn't help that Lyra made a massive botch and got out of the cable tie that Becky tied her up with. You had Bayley predictably interfering. She makes a mistake. Becky wins. I think the crowd are real dead for this one. Even though these two have had good matches before, this really wasn't one of them. And then after that, everybody wanted Jacob to win, but you had the predictable interference from the outside, the numbers game, 4 versus 2 would win. I thought if Jacob was going to win, they needed to bring somebody in. This was actually the only prediction I had wrong on a SummerSlam preview show, because I felt that this show would be too heel heavy without Jacob winning. But they did go ahead with it. It was heel heavy. It was the Wyatts. It was Naomi. It was Solo Sikoa. What match did we just do?
Becky.
It was Becky, yeah. And then after that, it was Dominic Mysterio as well, beating AJ Styles. And again, a decent TV match, but after you've watched so much action across 2 days, you do just want to get to the main event. And the main event absolutely delivered. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Potentially the best match ever at SummerSlam. It's up there with Owen Hart versus Brett versus the Bulldog, Shawn Michaels versus Triple H, the original TLC match. Anything that you can mention, it's hard to say that this wasn't the best. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Brock Lesnar defending his championship against Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, and Roman Reigns from 2017. Rollins Cena, Cena Lesnar. Lesnar Punk. I think for me, it's between Lesnar Punk, Triple H versus Shawn Michaels, and this. This is definitely in the top 3. I'm going to be biased and say that it is number 1.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, there was like 3 or 4 times in this match where I thought, all right, it's over.
Yeah.
There was 3 crossroads. Then there was AA, and then the AA avalanche through a table or some shit like that. I thought it was done.
I thought when the table was set up and Cena went through instead of Cody, and then we had the crossroads, 3 crossroads, that's it. To get another 5 minutes after that, and even for them to make me believe that Cena was going to win. When Cena hit that AA, I was like, oh, he's not dropping the title. They're gonna turn him babyface, and they're gonna give him another couple of months like that. We're gonna finish this run off with him as a babyface, which I kind of hope they did do, because Cody as champion for me is horrible. It's horrible TV, but that's what we're going to have to now endure. But they did make up for it with Brock Lesnar coming back out. And I said at the top of the show, absolutely delighted with this, because it means that we are saying fuck you to the rainbow-haired, liberal, leftist pricks who just ruin this product. They moan about everything, but guess what? These fucking influencers that people piggyback onto, they're always sitting at home. They're never fucking there buying a ticket. They watch every show in their house. They're not in the stadiums, and they're the ones with the following. And these followers just piggyback onto their opinion. If they're not piggybacking off Sapp and Meltzer and people like that, these woke liberal leftists, then it's going to be these fans, these actors who overreact to everything. They're all just looking to get followers and end up on WWE TV. Nothing's genuine. It's all fucking fake outrage. When you're actually in the stadium, among the consumers, the people that are the real fans, that are actually putting money in WWE's pockets, who are getting on fucking flights and getting in cars and getting hotel rooms and are waiting an hour and a half to get out of the fucking stadium and are buying stuff at the merchandise stands, putting real money into their pocket. The real fucking consumer, the people that are actually important, they all cheered. While the cunts, they sat at home and cried about it. Well, fuck you, because nobody's listening to you anymore. Now, moving forward, hopefully this is a sign of the times, with WWE actually acknowledging President Trump on TV, with Triple H going in that direction, with 4 tributes to Hulk Hogan, and ending the week with Brock Lesnar coming out whilst he's in this fucking Janelle Grant and Vince McMahon lawsuit. We are fucking eating. WWE are fucking cooking. It's a big slap in the face to the liberals. And if you don't like it, don't fucking watch. You won't be missed because you're not paying anything to watch the show anyway. And now these cunts are complaining about the fact you have to pay $30 more to watch the WWE on pay-per-view. If you don't have it, if you don't have the extra $30 a month, tough shit. Work harder, dye your hair back to a normal colour, lose some weight, and get a fucking life, lose your virginity, have some children, and do something with yourselves. Otherwise, just go to the top of your building and jump, because no one's going to fucking miss you, you sad cunts. No one cares. And that is what Brock Lesnar represents more, other than being a fucking monster who we've badly missed on TV. And now he's back, one of the greatest of all time. Mr. fucking Summerslam comes out and closes SummerSlam. And if you don't know why he isn't Mr. SummerSlam, you're obviously some kind of moron. Now, let's compare the two moments. Brock comes out, Seth comes out. For you, Austin, what is the number one moment? If you take away the lawsuit, what do you think in 5 to 10 years' time is going to be the moment? Has there ever been a better cash-in than Seth coming out and then going backwards, which you would have felt like, oh, right, it is a tease, they're saving it or whatever, and then he drops the crutches. Let's compare, let's narrow it right down to crutch drop or Rollins music. I think it's 2 moments. Rollins music, and then they take it away, and then crutch drop. But it's Lesnar's just Lesnar, like fucking the music. So crutch drop versus Lesnar coming out. Let's take those two. Because when Rollins comes out, we don't know, because they took the moment away a little bit and then gave you it back. So I think crutch drops when you really know, and Lesnar's Lesnar. So what do you think?
It's a real tough one, but I think I prefer Seth Rollins one. I think that's one that we talked about more in the future, because people to this day still talk about the heist of the century 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think Lesnar means more for the product in terms of where we might go in this direction, where you've upset these people, but actually turn around and said, you know what? Fuck you. You're not actually our customers. You are just an online presence, a vocal minority. Or even if it's not a minority, it doesn't matter how many people it is. They're not going to stop watching, and ultimately they will not put money in your pocket. And if they're complaining about the fact that WWE have gone to ESPN, then you are right to get in bed with Trump, to give Hogan the 4 tributes, and as I said, bring back Brock Lesnar. So for me, yes, the Seth moment will live on longer, but for Brock, just at this moment in time with what's going on, absolutely shocking, one of the most shocking moments ever. But I could even argue that the Seth moment goes above Ultimate Warrior beating a honky tonk man, and I could even argue that Cody beating Cena, winning this match and adding the Brock part to it as part of the match, could be the number one SummerSlam match. But let's grade it and actually see why we feel that way. So the build, this is very, very much, this could go one or two ways. You could either love the build and love the fact that Cody put Cena through the table, made him sign that contract, and then Cena turned babyface on SmackDown and they got away from his heel turn. Ultimately, if you think that the build here was good, then you have to feel like the Cena heel turn was a failure, and they done us all a favour by ending it. I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. I don't think Cena was on TV enough for this to be a 9 or even an 8. But I don't think it's bad enough to be a 7. I'm going to go 7.5.
I'm going 8. I like the build.
Okay. The bell to bell.
10.
Okay, I agree. I'm going to go for a 10. Okay, well, I don't need to put yours in because I've gone... Oh, it's not letting me. I've got 10. What about the crowd response to this?
Another 10.
Yep. I think the crowd response is a 10 as well. The SummerSlam main event.
9.5.
Yep, I've got 9.5 as well because it's not the WrestleMania Night 2 main event, although it is massive. And the finish.
9.5.
I'm going to go for a 10 because I'm going to include Brock in the finish as part of it. But also, I mean, they killed each other. We didn't know when the finish was. And although that's a 10 for bell to bell, for me, it's also enough to give it a 10 for the overall finish. So I have ended up with 7.5, 9.5, and 3 10s. So it's a shame the build wasn't stronger for me, but I've ultimately only taken 3 points off this match being perfect, which gives it a 47. Had the build-up been an 8, I would have been a 47.5, and then I would have had the choice of a 5-star match or a... do you know what? I'm going to give myself the choice. I'm going to give the build an 8, same as you, because that now brings it to 47.5, which means I can grade it as a 5-star match, and I will grade it as a 5-star match because I'm saying this is the best match I've ever seen at SummerSlam. And I don't want my rating system to affect it. So, yeah, I'm going to give the build an 8. Change everything. 8, 10, 10, 9.5, 8. That gives it 47.5, and that makes it a 5-star match. Austin, you have gone 9.5, 9.5, an 8, and 2 10s. You also had it at 47. Do you think you're happy with a 47 and this being 4.5 stars, or do you two want to find a half mark here and so that you have the option to make this a 5-star match?
No, I'm going to stick with what I got.
So you have a 4.5 star match.
Yeah, because I think a 5-star match is like literally perfect.
But do you think it's the greatest match ever at SummerSlam?
Top 3. I'm not sure. I have to watch them back.
Yeah, because ultimately if you
but
do...
I don't want it at 4.5. I want to just keep it at 4.7. Because that's what it would be for me.
But you have to round down around.
Then, yeah, 4.5 if I had to.
Yeah, you got it at 4.5, which means that you could potentially be saying, if you have this number 1 greatest match at SummerSlam, that you don't think there's ever been a 5-star match at SummerSlam, which is what you're saying. Whereas I know that other matches that I could say are also 5-star along this, but I just prefer this one. So that's why I felt it's important to get it to 47.5 in order to give it that 5-star match that it needed to be. But you're still happy with 4.5?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's our SummerSlam review. I do feel like they lost a little bit of momentum on Raw. I did not think Raw was a good show. Interesting, there was no Cena, no Brock. I'm not even expecting Brock on Friday because he's not been advertised yet, but we'll see what happens with that. But overall, unbelievable SummerSlam. There were a lot of doubts about the 2-night format. How are they going to make it work? Well, they pulled it off with just unbelievable finishes to the nights. I still feel 3 tag matches on night 1 and then having all of those heels winning by cheating on night 2 was just bad planning by the WWE. You needed a babyface victory on night 2, and you should have moved over Charlotte and Alexa to that night and moved one of the heels winning over to night 1. What that would have done is it would have taken away one of the tag matches, and it would have taken away one of the heels cheating. Maybe the cage match. Have you swapped Jacob Fatu or just Dominic Mysterio? And I think that would have made the night 2 weak. So had you taken Jacob Fatu's cage match across, and also all the gimmicks are on night 2. Like you had the cage, the ladders. I think Jacob and Solo moving over to night 1 and Charlotte and Alexa moving over to night 2. That is perfection. That is how SummerSlam needed to be done. But this was pretty close to perfect. I think overall, I think we were probably looking at close to 8.5 on both nights. 8 or 8.5 on both nights. I think giving SummerSlam 8 out of 10 overall would be too low. but giving it a 9 would be too high. So I think 8.5 overall for SummerSlam. Finishing off with what I felt was the best SummerSlam match of all time. Finishing off with 2 top 10, maybe even top 5 SummerSlam moments of all time. The best cash-in I think I've ever seen, and just an unbelievable return that nobody could have called. So that's it for me and this SummerSlam preview. To get my additional content, head over to thedirtysheets.com, where I will be dropping an episode of the Wrestling Informer on Friday. Until then, thanks for listening.